And hello, everyone. Welcome back to FPL in the Trenches, Frontline Prediction League in the Trenches, Frontline League on Twitter, X, Frontline Prediction League over on YouTube. That's this right here, and Frontline underscore Prediction underscore League on Instagram. You can follow all those things into our Discord to find out this very page we'll be talking about here in a minute. But I'm your co-host Scott. Joining me, as always, is BeerMe. How are you, BeerMe?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Scott?
I'm doing good. I'm tired. It's late Sunday, which is the weird one for us. But yeah, we just couldn't record it through the week. So here we are sneaking it in for this week. And it will be a quick one because all we're doing is previewing some matches. That's it. And the survey that completed. So, because there's no show last weekend, no show this weekend, today, when we're recording it. We'll be back later in the week for more matches towards No Mercy itself, which is the next show on September 30th, which is only a week or so away. It's coming up fast. By the time you see this, it's like a week or two out. Because what, it's like the 19th or 17th? Yeah, it's September's flying by way too quick. It's crazy. But, bear with me. Let's dive in and look at the card as we have it right now. No Mercy is September 30th. That is a Saturday. And yes, we already know there's the UFC, TKO, everything, and the idea of doing Saturday shows for UFC and then Sunday for WWE. And cool. I will be able to watch them more regularly if they're on Sundays, but I prefer them on Saturdays just in the overall scheme of things because I don't like having my Sunday night go till midnight and then that's it, work tomorrow. But you can't imagine that'll be every time, but maybe it will. We'll see. That literally was a thing from this week. We'll see where that goes. But as of right now, Saturday, September 30th is No Mercy, the last main show for NXT, and more on that as we go. This has an FPL World Championship match. It is Chappers, the new champion, defending. We'll talk about that in a minute. The 2023 FPL Tournament of Killers, a Hell in a Cell final. Billy Grayson versus Redhead 12. The Watson Rules Canadian Championship match. Camp Applestone defending against Tino, who did win his number one contendership against Larry. And a hardcore match. Black Cross Light, Atlas Kiyama, and Jason Blades versus Shades and Smiles, CJ Hawk, and Lexi Briggs. And bear me, we'll go through who we think are going to win on this. Like next time or the time after that. This is just to get through right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when we announce new matches, we'll say who we think might win those as we go. But Jonathan C.T. Martin facing Hiroshi Moses. A non-title match for the American champ, Alexander McKennedy versus The Goose. And then the kickoff. So let's scroll back up here and announce some matches, Beer Me. We've got a lot of matches for a lot of shows because a lot is coming up suddenly. I have two for this one. I have actually Chappers' opponent as well as another match. What do you have?
I have two as well.
Well, we mentioned the World Championship. It is being defended by Chappers. Let's get that out of the way. It is being defended against former champion Ash, getting a rematch. Kind of that last-minute thing. He's getting a rematch here. It is the quick turnaround. Ash is getting the shot at Chappers to become a two-time champion. Do you think he does it, or does Chappers keep the belt?
I'm gonna go with Chappers.
I like Chappers retaining it. I don't know. This might be enough for Ash. If Chappers retains it, he'll have it for a while. But I can see Ash getting it back and going on another tear. So
Ash is really good, and his pick face is Roman, so
right,
it could happen.
yeah. Right now, I'm leaning toward Ash, but we'll see what happens officially when we do our picks on the go home week of. What do you have to announce, though?
I have a tag match here. The Symphony of Destruction, James Blake and Ralantando will be taking on Team No Chance, Buck and Five, and Josh Dione.
Oh, so Buck's in there as well. So TNC expands. It's the gang is getting back together. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting after the developments we've seen. So I like that. I like that faction coming back. That's kind of a fun thing to see that reforming, because that kind of exploded in the FPL, like in the Rumble on the debut show. It kind of was there and gone. So it is fun to see that come back here. I got a hardcore steel cage match to announce here, Beer Me. It is the other part of TNC, James Costner, going one-on-one with Mr. Money in the Bank, Mark Harper.
Mm.
Steel
I'll go with
cage.
Mark Harper.
In a cage? I like that too. I'm leaning. I normally don't go against Costner on these, but I want that Harper momentum with the Money in the Bank, so I'm leaning on him for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what have you got to announce?
It's you versus me.
Yeah, I know this. I knew about this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Who's your pick?
It's gonna be tough, but I think I'm gonna go with myself.
Yeah. You know what?
But
I
yeah,
think the exact same thing. It is tough. I'm going with myself. This
it's very
was
fair.
bound to happen
It's
after Nerd and Bash It, and it was just like, we got to do it. We got to do it. So, yeah.
yeah. Are you gonna get one though? Is that the
No, I'm 0-2 so far of the FBU, so. But I've beaten you guys before, so, like, by rights, I
That's
probably
true.
will lose. But that means I'll win at Mania, so it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a fun one. So we'll have a good straightforward match for that. Because I think we were looking at doing it Impact because we haven't done that in a while. That was our tradition.
Yeah.
But you're busy at Impact, so we had to go elsewhere. But that's no mercy. Let's scroll through BeerMe. We got WrestleDream coming up after that, and we do have our logo for that. Oop, there it is. WrestleDream is coming up on Sunday, October 1st. It is the AEW New Japan kind of tribute show. We already have Alexander McKennedy and the Must See Good Guys, that's the American Champion and Tag Champions, versus the winner of the Tournament of Killers and Shades and Smiles. So that will be the number one contender for the American title and the number one contenders for the tag titles. So we've mentioned that one before. Again, we'll talk more about that as we go. And that'll be the same go-home because that's the day after the other show. Black Cross Lightface and the Kings of the FPL. And that's it. So let's announce more for this one, BeerMe. I have 3 matches for this.
I do too.
Well, I'll do one first. Static, the European champion, will face whomever the Canadian champion is. So it will either be Cam Popplestone or Tino. And the reason we're doing this is so we know, like, not it's the competitor, but it's the champion. So it's like a way to line things up in that way. I'll actually say my other one, BeerMe. The loser of that match, so Cam or Tino, whoever loses in that, or rather, whoever's not the champion, because if there's a draw, right, will face FBU's Broken Nerd.
Oh. All right.
So on a main show, that could easily be a thing. He just went toe-to-toe and didn't quite get the belt and beats him. So Broken Nerd could beat Cam or Tino, who either just failed in capturing the title or lost it, and then beats that person. And Static is in there with the champ as well, because that's a bit of a European thing with the Canadian champ, either against
Yeah,
Tino
that's cool. I like
or
that.
So that's
like that.
that one. So what have you got to announce? Because I got one more. It involves the world champion, kind of. What have you got to announce?
All right. I guess I'll announce 2 then. Surf Dog's having a birthday open challenge.
Okay.
And
I would say who's against, and then I realized what I was saying.
right. And Halcyon will be taking on CM Carlito in a hardcore match.
Ooh, they are ones who have been contenders recently as well. So that's some interesting division structuring in that. And TLC match, you said?
Hardcore match. Hardcore.
I thought, why TLC? I don't have a TLC match. I don't know why I said that. Just on the brain, I guess. There's not a TLC match announced by me whatsoever, so I don't know where that came from. I kind of like Halcyon on that. I like Halcyon staying in that range and trying to get that notch back up. How about you?
Same. I do too.
I don't know. You're breaking up a little bit there, Beer. You might need to adjust your mic, just so you know.
Oh.
There you go. So my...
Better?
We'll find out. My last one to announce. It is the loser of the World Championship. So, again, whoever's not the champion, not just the loser of the match, technically, but Ash or Chappers, whoever does not hold the gold after that world title match the night before, will face the loser of the Tournament of Killers. Either Red or New Hotness, Billy Grayson. Now, if there is a draw in the final of the tournament, we do need to have a rematch between those two because we do go again until we get a definitive winner of the tournament. So that might just be a triple threat. I don't actually know or remember what the plan is. But there you go. So another big stakes match there for whoever comes out of it. Because again, if Ash goes out there and wins, Chappers goes there and faces, say, Billy Grayson, it's the former world champion from a day prior versus the runner-up in the Tournament of Killers. This is, again, big high-stakes matches, so it is trying to make this show important in some ways, and yet there's not really, like I said, title matches on this because it's a weird AEW one, but there are still some structuring standings on that. So yeah. Who do you like in that, though? Do you think the world champ will win that or the TOK loser? I know loser's a horrible thing to say, but it's winners and losers, so.
I'm going to go with the loser.
I like that, too. I like that. A rebound. I like that.
Yeah.
And you have one more to announce, I believe?
Yeah. Scott, I have your match.
That's me.
We're taking on Cammy Cat.
Yes. Cammy and I have been going at it in the character chat in Discord. So our characters are prepping for a battle there, obviously, finally. Like we've faced each other over years and years and years. So this will be fun. This will be fun. Also, my dog is barking in the background. She says hi. That's WrestleDream. And we'll have more on that one, obviously, as we go in the weeks coming up, because there's only a couple weeks to go. And a week after that is Fastlane. So let's dive into that, BeerMe. I've got one match to announce for this one.
I did too.
I got Luke Gray versus Tino. That's a match with some history. I want Luke to win that. Tino could be Canadian champ by this point, by the way. Remember.
That's true.
But I'm looking at Luke winning that.
I'm going to pick Tino.
Now, I did neglect to mention the Continental Tag titles are being defended here. The Good Guys versus Shade and Smiles. The American title is McKennedy versus the TOK winner, Red or Billy. Alice Kiyama versus Smooth Rock. Captain Crowley's Blackpool versus Jason Blades in the hardcore match, Steel Cage. So those are also there again. We'll talk more about that after we recap those prior two shows on the Go Home for Fastlane. What have you got to announce, though?
We got Team No Chance, James Costner and Josh Gionio taking on the Strays.
Ooh.
Michael Marsh, Supreme Rock.
Okay. Some interesting stuff there. Was curious to see how that goes. The Strays are always violent, so that should be a fun one as well. Yeah. And we'll leave it there. That's what we got so far. That's what we have to announce. And there's lots of matches coming up. There's, of course, Bound for Glory after that. There is Full Gear and Survivor Series and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, yes, let's talk about that survey. Because those survey results did come in. I think this fits the screen. Yes, it does. Good. Okay, so the mid-year survey results are in. We had 38 results, and I think normally we get somewhere around 60 people putting in picks. So admittedly, about 20 people did not put their survey picks in. That's fine. No problem there. We just presume, if that's the case, that those people like the stuff as it's going on, but we still want to hear from people, and we go based on those suggestions here. So, as you can see right off the bat, NXT is a house show. So, as of NXT No Mercy, which literally is at the end of the month, then too late or too soon to drop outright with everything, it is becoming a house show. So, No Mercy is the last one, so whatever they do in December, be it Deadline or whatever that one is being called, that will be a house show. We'll still be covering NXT, but they will be house shows. Meaning, no title shots, no title matches, except for the European. So that will be there. That does mean kind of story beats do hit there, but nothing that matters in as much as rankings will happen on NXT shows going forward. Granted, of course, do a survey next year and people want to back on, we're good. Full disclosure, I'm amazed this happened. It was during the booking call on Tuesday when that came up. I was like, I didn't even know that was consideration, that people didn't want it that much. Like, I truly didn't realize only 34.2% wanted to continue as the main show. And we could have been like, nah, we're going to keep it anyway, but that's too little wanting to keep it. It truly is. Like, there's no way to justify that. So, yeah. What that kind of means, though, is there's that many less main shows overall. So, as you can see below, we're also not keeping ROH at all. Like, 42% want to cover it, but 22% follow it. ROH is gone. And we were vocal on that. We did not want that one. It was kind of a garbage one thrown in, also ran along. Nobody enjoyed it to the extent. And coming out of the shows, you hear us on top of the card, but you can find it on Spotify and iTunes and all that fun stuff. It's fine, but it's a far cry from what it was when we started. especially back in the JRPL days. So it's gone. Doesn't mean it can't come back. You know, if the voting wants it back on because people like it, cool. But nope. So ROH is gone. NXT does kind of fill that slot. There was Death Before Dishonor. Final Battle, obviously, if Final Battle does happen this December, we are not covering it. So there's that. But Supercard of Honor and the shows that they do for that, if they brought more in, like Best in the World or the anniversary specials, if they did have those would be story beats we could use. We're not anymore. They're gone. NXT will fill that slot. Like I said, Deadline, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, whatever they do, Stand and Deliver. Forget the name of the other ones they had. In Your House, you know, those are house shows now. So it is kind of, we drop one and move another kind of in its spot. In weird dates, because now it's kind of neck and neck with how AEW is, the way some of these seem to be timed, but we'll see how that goes going forward. Especially how AEW does their things and how they're structuring, because they might be moving to 12 pay-per-views next year, and we don't know what the plan is there. And Impact might even do more, but those might be like their Impact Plus specials, which we don't cover. So we'll have to see what they end up doing and how they classify them. So yeah, so that's the biggest part there, obviously. NXT is a house show, and ROH is down outright. And Discord changes to mention, yes, there's been some stuff moved around, like a music channel became Movies and Music. There's a non-spoiler wrestling channel, which you saw as well, because people would be like, oh, this got announced. Like, independently, GCW has this show. I post those a lot. There's kind of a spot now for that, like, oh, wrestling news, put it in there. So that's a better fit to keep the clutter out from other stuff. We joked about the idea of, like, some of the food posts or things, or the game stuff, should be in gaming, like all the World stuff, but it's like, if we truly didn't have stuff in general chat and segmented everything, there'd be nothing to talk about in general. So, come on, like we get it. So yeah, submission match rules were cleaned up because how we all thought they were was not how it was quite worded. So we made it work so it's worded the way that we all knew it was. And the idea there is, like, BeerMe and I, we've had submission matches. If I say had Moose with 1 point as my guy to win, and you picked Steve Macklin with your 1 point to win, and that match, and you picked someone else, but didn't even put 1 point on it. Okay, so you got some other match with the 1 pointer. You put Alexander as 1 point in the main event. My match happens first. I have my 1 pointer. I got it wrong. Match is over. That's it. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong later. It's over because I got mine out and I tapped. That's what it signifies. If I got it right and we get down to yours whenever it is, main event or whenever, and then you get your 1 pointer wrong, match is over as of that point. And officially, bonuses aren't added until the end of the show. Even if it's the main event, the match ended, but then the show ends, so the bonuses still don't come in. It's a whole thing. The cleanup, though, is if we both have the same match and we both do the 1 pointer. I couldn't remember the specifics of that and said I got to read the document again. So that's all been cleaned up. That's in there. So if we both get it wrong, it continues or it doesn't. I don't remember. The point is we have it written down. So that's there. And the raw data is here. 38 responses, like I said. 37 people want to predict WWE. So one person didn't want it, technically. 3 less wanted AW, 3 less from that wanted NXT, and then 16 wanted ROH. So yeah, it dropped down. The joke about people wanting to have New Japan being covered instead of ROH, even less people wanted it technically than ROH. So it's not going to be a thing. And yeah, there's the rest of the stuff in there. We appreciate the thoughts, like perfect amount of shows, 71%. That's awesome. Perfect amount of titles, perfect amount of defenses. I mean, 68%, 65%. It's not perfect. Admittedly, like we'd like it, like you want the 70s. And this is a key thing I know I talked about before, but when a video game gets released and it only gets like, oh, it was bad, it's a 7 out of 10. You do realize 70% is actually quite good. It's not 80. It's not like a B is still good. Even a C plus is still good. So these are good numbers. I'm literally making sure that matters in there. And the amount of the don't care, bump those up anyway on top of that. Best part of being in the league, all the cool people. We appreciate that. What's been done well? We love seeing the kind of uniformity, the matchmaking, the stories, the write-ups. The deserved title shots, we've heard that. we have started on things. You may have noticed Larry and Tino had a number one contendership match. Pulling that curtain back a little bit, that was Tino's contendership match. It wasn't quite Larry. We were like, well, if he wins it, he'll get the shot, but maybe not Larry. Then went, you know what? Pull that trigger. If he wins it, he beat the guy who got the shot. Give him the shot. That's going to be more of a clear thing going forward. And we tossed out the idea of having eliminator matches where, this person wins and gets the shot, but this one doesn't, and make that blatantly known. Because that's kind of how we did things behind the scenes before. That's how some contenders came in. But no, I'm firmly of the opinion, if this person's going to get a shot with a win, and this person has a few to go, but beats them, let's see what they can do. Give them the shot. Maybe they're ready for it, maybe they're not, but you might end up winning it. And we've seen upsets in this league. We've seen upsets in the prior league. The number 8 seed sometimes beats the champions. BeerMe, not to bring that one back up from 5 years ago, but it literally happened when the Outsiders beat the Solution. By rights, we should not have won that. If you were doing a ranking of who were the number one contenders, we were 8th of 8, and we beat the champs. We lost it right away, but there you go. So we got no problem with that. We're gonna make those blatant number one contender matches. If you see Watson rules matches that are number one contender matches, they're probably on the way to that. Same with hardcore matches. Same with tag matches. They're probably on the way for that. So yeah. And otherwise, yeah, what have we been struggling with? Title shots, like I said. So we're making that clear, we're making that clean, and getting that out there. It's people who win get it. People who win get these shots, and we try to move it around. If someone just had a shot, we don't want to give them an immediate shot, but we also get getting it right back in there, like the no contest with the tag titles, or Ash getting his shot again. We get that. If it's a quick turnaround, boom, here you go again, because we're moving on the next contender coming up. We're working on that. So yeah, that's that part. And yeah, where do you get your news? Discord. And then below there's Trenches. I'm kidding. You didn't even see it. I gave a face, but in all seriousness, we appreciate that. We appreciate the views on this. It is a lot of fun. We have fun with it. But yeah, and that's the survey. I know you saw this afterwards because you're not part of the booking calls and stuff, BeerMe. Was there any kind of comments you wanted to make on anything here from what you thought of it, or that kind of puts you on the spot for how you voted? I suddenly realized. So if you don't want to say anything, I understand that. But
no, even though I've had more time to think about it, I think that it was not the right move to make NXT a house show. We're gonna have less, or a main show.
I don't like it.
I just have,
I say it again. I don't like it. I don't like it being down there. Now there's less main shows, which means a little less ways to get contenderships and a little less shows that matter.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But
less defenses.
And less defenses.
It's just all around. Yeah, it's just all around not good. But hey, the people wanted to vote for it, even though sometimes the consensus can be wrong.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I mean they can. But
right.
No, I don't think the people were wrong. They had the reasons for it. They wanted to vote it the way they did. I don't agree with parts of it, but maybe that's because I don't understand it. That's fair. And I don't need to, because we heard you. You got it. There it is. And like I said, going forward now, there's less shows for defenses, and there's less shows to earn title shots. That's a thing. There's no way around that, because now NXT doesn't matter for that. Like I said, for now, we can see what happens. And if there is a consensus of everyone being like, no, we need it back, okay, we can see what we can do. We won't retroactively make this one like deadline back as one or something, unless it suddenly is a thing. But that's what's wanted. We're running with it. We're cool. We'll see how it works. We, from the FPL side, from the owner side, have absolutely no qualms in running with it. We don't need something to be something to run with it, to work with it. We got less of these? Okay, well, this is how we're going to work with it. We got more spots for the European show, or the European title? Okay. And we got to work our structuring on booking for how we actually have the other stuff to work around no NXT.
Actually,
so, yeah.
Actually, Scott, you don't have more spots for the European title because the ROH show's gone.
Yeah, but ROH, I think, was only like 3 or 4. NXT seems to be like 5 or 6. So there is a little... There's a little more, because there was a sense with the NXT... with ROH, it was just Impact, right? And if we dropped off ROH, and just had like the 4 Impact shows, or maybe 5, depending how they do things, that's not enough for the European title. So we would have had the European title defended on other shows. We were prepared to do that because it would evolve. It would have to. But now it's this. So like it's not like we needed that to happen to keep the title. We just would have changed how the thing works. Like we didn't need to vote one down to run the other. But we'll run with it. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. It will be fine. It's a weird thing to be like, all right, NXT doesn't matter. It's a thing in the brain about the show not mattering when I watch it. It's I've done this for 6 years. It's such a weird thing, right? That's a weird thing on it. So, but we'll see. It is always evolving. We go based on what people want. And if people don't want it, why are we going to do it? And that's the biggest thing. I'm throwing the names out. What Bomber did was whatever he wanted and didn't care if he wanted it. And I know he said otherwise, but I was there full on to see it happen. You'd throw him suggestions and he'd be like, no, that's not what we're doing. This is what we're doing. It's like, yeah, but nobody wants that. No, but I do. That was Bomber. We are not doing that. We've never acted that way. I mean, maybe a little bit. This is how we're doing it. Why? Because we are. Okay. But then we have more reasons besides that. Right? So, right. But yeah, not to totally badmouth him, but he did run stuff weird, and that's why we're doing this and he isn't. There is no JRPL. We believe in this, and we believe in you guys, and want to give you guys what you want. And there are opportunities now for stories, more so on NXT shows. So my hope there is that instead of having story beats happen at shows you really don't care about like ROH, it's at least on ones you do care about like NXT. There is that at least. And as always in character, all of these shows matter for bragging rights. Please keep that clear too. So, but yeah. So we'll leave it at that, BeerMe. I think that's good. Anything else you want to say here before we go?
No. Just thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah,
and voting.
And yes, thank you for that. Because admittedly, if we had less votes even, it'd be like, well, that's not even a majority of the people. We can't run with that. But we did have a lot of votes, so we do appreciate that. This page is available in the news area of the Discord, which again, you can get through the YouTube, the Twitter, the Instagram, all those things. Again, it's Frontline_Prediction_League on Instagram, Frontline League on Twitter, Frontline Prediction League here on YouTube. That'll all in there. The other page here, I clicked on it. There it is. Is also available for the upcoming shows. The picks pages will be in there. And again, keep in mind there's going to be 2 back-to-back for RC and for WrestleDream. They are coming up as well. Both main shows for that last time in that sense. And yeah, come into our Discord. Let us know what you think, what you want to see, what you want to do. Storylines, all that fun stuff. Let's go with it. WrestleMania season is coming. Now is the time to get building. Unless you're GMSG and I, we started back after last year's WrestleMania. God, you guys you got to lose those titles, BeerMe. You got to clear up that match for me. Come on, you got to do me a favor here. Come on, do me a solid.
No,
I didn't think so. We'll get there, though. There's months to go.
Hey, now there's less offenses. It's looking like maybe...
You just lose the Shades of Smiles. This Frontline, Shades of Smiles. They'll take it off you there October 7th. We're clear. We're good. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Never know.
It'll be fine. But that's it. Thanks again, everybody. I did list all the things already. Do also check out Top of the Card Pod. That is with a new episode talking about Bray Wyatt, talking about CM Punk, because that all happened after the last recording, as well as All In, All Out, and Payback. And plus Gunther had his record-breaking run. That's the latest episode, all recorded like 2 weeks ago. But it's recently edited and should be up around the time you're hearing this. So please check that out as well on Spotify, iTunes, all that fun stuff. Same Discord for all that. Please check that out. And yeah, thanks again, everybody. Have a good night.